Ever since European colonists began settling in the land that would later become the United States of America, many artifacts have been discovered which suggest that one of the ancient Native American mound builder civilizations, which the U.S. calls Hopewell, are descendants of Hebrew people who migrated to ancient North America during the 500s BC, which is approximately the earliest estimated dates of the Hopewell mound builders in Florida, Tennessee, and Iowa. Yet there have been many people in the United States who insist that every single one of these artifacts are fake. My personal opinion is because it opposes the idea that nobody sailed to America before Christopher Columbus.
At the moment, there are only two ways of reaching it. By sea, sailing around the African continent. The journey takes a year. Or by land. But the Turks have closed this route to all Christians. There is a third way. By sailing west across the ocean sea.
The distance is unknown. It's said to be infinite.
Superstition. I believe the Indies are no more than 750 leagues west of the Canary Islands.
How can you be so certain?
The calculations of Toscanelli, Marin de Tir, Esdras.
Esdras is a Jew.
So what's worse?
2 minutes, and already you're a dead man.
For telling the truth?
Yes. We are burning people for less.
Prove that the Latinos and Negroes are the same people, man, the same nation, man. You know, this book called Black Indians on page 26. The brothers want to come up real quick. The author name is William Loren Katz. William Loren Katz. Right? It's called a hidden heritage. It says it began with Columbus. For the people of the Americas, the arrival of Columbus was hardly a blessing. On the first day, October 12, 1492, the explorer wrote in his diary, I took some of the natives by force. Who was those natives that was over here? The Latinos, you know, the Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, so on and so forth. The tribe of Issachar, the tribe of Simeon, you know what I'm saying? Ephraim, yup. He says, I took some of the natives by force. He later found the original inhabitants to be tractable and concluded there is not in the world a better nation. Who's that? The Israelites. His response as a European was to say that Indians must be made to work and adopt our ways. So, you know, I'm just going to get to the point. You know what I'm saying? Jumping down, he says, from here, the name of the Blessed Trinity, we can send all the slaves that can be sold. When he loaded 1,100 Taino men and women aboard 4 Spanish ships. So I'll link up with Deuteronomy page 26. As that proves what? The Latinos went on those slave ships as well, man. You know that links up. He said when he loaded 11 Taino men, I'll put it right here. When he loaded 1,100 Taino men and women aboard 4 Spanish ships. Who's that? The tribe of Ephraim, man. All right? With that, in the New World, which is over here, Spaniards had become devils. Who are the Spaniards? Edomites. Had become devils, and Indians were the only true Christians. Who are the Indians, man? The Northern Kingdom. So La Casas led a determined effort to hold Indian bondage. He pointed out that Indians died off by the thousands from slavery and European diseases. Forced labor in Spanish mines, the Americans were so harsh that the average worker died before he was 26. To meet their needs for more laborers, Europeans looked next to Africa. That's the west coast of Africa right here. To meet their need for more laborers, Europeans looked next to Africa. Who was born over here? Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. All right? The strongest sons and daughters of Africa were seized, and their homes or fields or purchased from local traders. They were all packed into cargo ships and shipped across the Atlantic.
Shalom. First off, we give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Makakadash, Yahweh being the true name for the Heavenly Father, Yahushai being named for his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Jesus Christ. I want to give double honor to our apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us his truth and will well, and salutations to you, hopefully pushing his truth and honesty and sincerity. This is Brother Yahweh. You know, listen to Spirit Power, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And, you know, there was a beautiful introductory video that was posted by GMS Get This Work. You know, brother puts up a lot of edifying shows. And you also have the elder Barack out of GMS LA camp, you know, edifying at the highways and hedges about the so-called Native American Indians being the true Hebrew Israelites. So it's been a while since I've done a lesson, you know, going into this part of the milk of learning this truth. And that's the edification of these people being the so-called Native American Indians, the Indians indigenous to North and South America being Hebrew Israelites. Okay. And those are the people that, if you don't know who a Hebrew Israelite is, those are the people, I'm sure you've heard of the story of Moses. Those are the people that that Moses led, you know, out of Egypt and also part of the Red Sea, and we got to the Promised Land. Okay, but later on, you know, we did not keep the law, statutes, commandments. So as a punishment, a prophecy was to be fulfilled that we would be carried away with ships. Okay, to a land known as bondage. You know. And we're going to get the count of that within scriptures as far as prophecy and go into some details on how you got here. Now, the reason why I have this photo up on the screen, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and continue to elaborate on some more of the evidences that was brought out in the video. You know, this is the garments. I literally just typed in ancient Native American clothes, and this is one of the first things that popped up. And you notice that you have this border of blue, okay, and you have fringes. I want to bring out a quick scripture here. This is the book of Numbers 15:38. It says, "Speak unto the children of Israel and bid them that they make them fringes in the border of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put on the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. And it should be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it and remember all the commandments of Yahweh and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye used to go a whoring, that ye may remember and do all my commandments and be holy unto your God." Now, this is a custom and tradition of wearing that type of clothing attire, to have a ribbon or a border of blue and fringes. Okay, and look how many fringes and borders of blue. Now, this is just the women's dress. You know, men wore the same thing too. So, hey man, this is one key indicator here. They're practicing the customs and traditions of Israelites. Fringes, border ribbon of blue. I mean, they just, even if they didn't have the ribbon of blue, they had fringes on all their clothing garments, man, or vast majority of them. And the purpose of that is to remember the laws, statutes, and commandments. You see all these borders of blue ribbon. This is old clothing, ancient. Okay, so this is the Native American attire. Really, this is Israelite attire, and this is what we wore. You know, when we had the law, statutes, commandments, when we were in our lands. If you want a visual representation of what kind of clothes we had, it would be this. You know, and that's one thing. One of the tribes, of all the tribes that didn't lose it, the so-called Native Americans, the tribe of Gad and Reuben, you know, and some Ephraimites, they kept these customs and traditions, and they passed down, you know, these customs and traditions, you know, from generation to generation. You see, all these fringes, man. Now I want to give you a quick, I'll show you something. I have this book that I acquired, and we're going to read a little bit out of it. This book was written like in the 1600s, man, right during the midst of the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, so bear with me here as I try to get as much of this on the camera as possible. All right, this is a copy of the original. The original sells for, like, right now they got it over like $2,000 to try to get an original copy. So, but you can get a photocopy of it, or I got this off of Amazon. Extremely edifying book, man, for your brothers in the truth. I'm gonna try to share it. Okay, it's called The Hope of Israel. It was written by a man, and his name was Manasseh ben Israel. You know, I guess he believed he was a Hebrew as well. This is a Hebrew divine and philosopher. Okay, all right. So this was written in, it was written to, you know, England. Okay, it says it was dedicated to the High Court and Parliament of England. Now, this was dedicated to them and was written and given to them in their hand. So this goes to show that the elites of the world, they definitely know that we are Israelites. Before us out there standing on the highways and hedges, the knowledge has been there. They've always known that we are the true chosen people. Okay, because what this book was written, he put together an enormous amount of evidence that he wrote that prove that the so-called Native American Indians over here are Israelites. More specifically, of the 10 tribes of the 12 of Israel. 10 tribes he mentions. They're all Israelites over here. And he wrote this, okay, to the Parliament. Salakia, let me get that back out real quick. He wrote this, it said, to the Parliament, the Supreme Court of England. Why? Because I guess maybe he thought that they didn't know. So he gave them evidence, man. And this guy had enough influence for them to actually pick up this book and read all of this proof, all of this information. Okay? All right, so it says here, I'll try to read the best I can because it's written in Old English form, so it's kind of hard to pronounce it, you know, a regular way. So just bear with me. It says, Manasseh ben Israel, to the courteous reader. It says, I'm going to jump down here towards this part to spare the time. It says, but I having curiously examined that whatever hath hitherto been written upon this subject doth find no opinion more probable nor agreeable to reform than that of our Montanus, who saith that the first inhabitants of America were the 10 tribes of the Israelites, whom the Tartans conquered and drove away, who after that, as God would have it, hid themselves behind the mountains Cordillera. I also show that as they were not driven out at once from their country, so also they were scattered into diverse provinces, into America, into Tartary, into China, into Media, and the Sabacogal River, and into Ethiopia. Now that proves that goes right in hand with the scriptures, man. Slakia. It says, I prove that the 10 tribes never returned to the second temple, that they yet keep the law of Moses and our sacred rites, and at the last shall return into their land with the 2 tribes, Judah and Benjamin, and shall be governed by one prince, who is the Messiah, the son of David. And without doubt, that time is near, which I make appear by diverse things, where it says, where reader shall find diverse histories worthy of memory, and many prophecies of the old prophets open with much study and care. He put this book together, man, and it's off the chain, brothers. Again, it's called The Hope of Israel, written by Manasseh ben Israel. Okay, this is 2nd Esdras chapter 13. Okay. I'm going to start here. I'll start at verse 29. It says, Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth. Slakia. It says, And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, that the sign shall happen which I showed thee before. And then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle that they have one against another. And a noble multitude shall be gathered together. Okay, so he's talking about, World War III, the end of the world, last battle at the end, when the Lord comes back to return. It's going to be great wars. Okay, but Yahweh Shai is going to come back in the midst of that war, and he's going to prevail. It says, But he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Sion, and Sion shall come, and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. And this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest, and shall lay there before them in their evil thoughts, and a torment wherewith it shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and shall destroy them without labor by the law, which is like unto me. And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him. Okay, he's going to gather the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. So every part of the world, Yahweh Shai is going to go pick us up. Okay, so the another peaceable multitude is about to go into who he's talking about. Those are verse 40, 2 Esdras 13 and 40. It says, Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. So I had a map that I actually drew up years ago. I tracked the wind currents that they would have used to sail over to the Americas, to show the voyage that they're speaking about, exactly how they got over here, man. Okay, and this is what we just read out of this book, The Hope of Israel. He says, I also show that they were not driven out at once, so it was in sections. okay, in different periods of time, but they were all carried over to specific places, into America, into Tartary, into China, into Media, to the Sabakal River, and into Ethiopia. So that's where the northern kingdom went. And notice how you have China on there. Why do you think that the country China is so big on martial arts? Well, that's because the tribe of Gad was carried away captive over there. Okay? Which Gad is a fierce troop. It means troop, soldiers, army, especially, basically the special forces of Israel. So you had martial arts such as Wing Chun and all sorts of stuff come out of there, man. The art known as Kung Fu. That's Gadite knowledge. That's Israelite knowledge, man. Okay? Alright, so here's the map right here. Alright, this is calculated based off the wind currents. And according to scriptures, the scripture said that the Most High held back or kept the flood, you know, and the floods happened in that region over here in the Middle East, and the narrow passages that they would have sailed out. That flood happens during monsoon season, and that would have allowed the ships to sail. All right, so here it is back in 2nd Esdras 13th chapter, going down to verse 42. We'll start 41. It says, "But took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen, and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land." It says, and they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. Okay, so the Euphrates, you know where that's at. And it says, "For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over." All right, so again, it floods in that Euphrates region during monsoon season, and that would have been during the time period that they could have caught those wind currents to begin their journey over to a land called Arsareth. Okay, verse 45 says, "For that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arsareth." All right, so let's go to that map. Okay, so Arsareth is referring to the lands over here, North and South America. All right, now during the time period of King Solomon, he actually sent ships, and the scriptures refer to as and he brought back many gold and riches and peacocks. How they got here. It says, "For though that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arsareth." Now, a year and a half. Why is that important? It's because the trip during the transatlantic slave trade, sailing from Spain over here to North America or the west coast of Africa to North America and South America and the Caribbean, that voyage took approximately 2 months' time. 2 months' time, all right? Now, the scriptures say it took a year and a half, right? Well, you use the distance and the speed from using wind currents. I already calculated all that out. So, point 1 here is we be the narrow passage of the Euphrates that will be made bigger from the flood, for them to sail out into the Persian Gulf. Okay? So, you got the first month, and you have 2 months. By the time they got to number month 2, they're already in the Indian Ocean. Then they would have took the currents and sailed down to point 3. That's 3 months. Sail down over here. Okay, you got the Indonesian islands over here, above Australia, and notice what also is there. You got Thailand in that region over there, and you got China. Okay. And didn't we just see a few minutes ago that we read that they were carried away into China? You see? And Columbus knew this route, man. He knew the scripture that mentioned this. This is out of the Bible, man. This is out of the King James Version Bible. Okay, the 1611 version before they ripped out the Apocrypha. This is an Apocrypha we're reading out this scripture. Okay, so now when they get to month 4, that's them being traded over there into China and shit. All right, then you got 5, month number 5, look where they're at. Approximately, basically at Australia. Okay, now they could be at number 6 as well. They could just jump down, but based on the wind currents, this would have been the best available route. Okay, once you get to month 6, 6 months, that's half a year. Month 7, you're getting closer back towards Africa. Okay, and this is in the area over here, but by the time you get to month 8, you know, Ethiopia. Let me read that as well. Okay, Media, Ethiopia. Okay, it said Media and Ethiopia. You know, so you can get to there at point number 2, between 2 and 3, or 7. So again, this is Northern Kingdom slaves being dropped off. Okay, carried away with ships into slavery again with ships. This is Deuteronomy 28:68, and it says, "And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold into your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you." Okay, and that word Egypt there, it goes into Mizraim, is where it was translated from, which means slavery or bondage, a place of slavery. So they were carried into slavery into North and South America by the Assyrians. They were in Assyrian captivity. And the Assyrians, by the way, they believed in animal worship and worshiping spirits and animals. Which people deal with that a lot? Which culture? So-called North American Indians, man. They also believed in reincarnation of you coming back in the form of an animal. You know, that's Assyrian paganism. So some of those customs and practices was still adopted by, you find that today in so-called Native American culture. Okay, so this is their form of slavery with ships, and then their slavery happened again, being put slaves into Spain during the Spanish acquisition and the Portuguese slave trade. So this is prophecy being fulfilled. And right here in this account in this book, he tells you, man. All right, so we can get it right here again. You know, we see. Okay, it says they were scattered into diverse provinces, into America, Tartary, into China, into Media, to the Sabbatical River, and Ethiopia. There you have it, folks. Okay, so jumping back to the map here. By month 9, they're starting to get closer to the transatlantic slave trade route. By month 10, they're there. They can officially sail over to where month 11 is at, and they're catching that transatlantic slave current. All right, so month 11, 12, by the 13th month, hey, they're already over there in the Gulf of Mexico. Okay, so by about 13, they're in the Gulf of Mexico, and you go over there and you see they got the East Coast by month 14, by month 15, they're all the way up to the northern part of North America. So that's exactly a year and a half's time, which proves the scriptures are true. That's the voyage, man. Okay, I have another account here. I'm going to pull out this book real quick, bear with me. Proof of what language they spoke. Okay, so you have this guy named Montezinus, all right, which spoke with them, and he spoke with another native there, and he had conversations with him, all right, and he went with him to go meet with other natives at that time. I'll just read it out this book. It says, "After that, the Indian bid Montezinus to be of good courage, and to not look that they should come a second time to him till he had fully learned the things which were told him the first time." And he was telling them the atrocities of the Spaniards, what they did to their people, the slaughter, because he didn't know, you know. It says, "Then those two men coming on each side of Montezinus, which were natives, they spoke in Hebrew the 4th verse of Deuteronomy 6. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Ahad. That is, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. And that's Shema Yasharallah, Yahweh, Abahayanawa, Yahweh, Ahad. So those natives, hey, said this prayer to him, man. The Shema prayer. How did they know how to speak Hebrew? Why? Because they're Hebrews. But they were speaking in a broken form of it. Okay, it says making a short pause between every particular. Okay, so he's telling them now, man. It says our fathers are Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Israel, and they signify therefore by the 3 fingers lifted up. Then they joined Reuben, adding another finger to the former 3. It says we will bestow several places on them who have mind to live with us. Joseph dwells in the midst of the sea. Okay, that goes into the land Puerto Rico called Richport. Okay, telling you where the tribe of Joseph lives. So you see, this is beautiful, man. Salakia. You know, I get amped up reading this book. You know, I read it every once in a while to kind of boost my spirit and show, man. So this is accounts. All right, right here it goes. It says to their clothing, what was part of their traditions. It says they were comely of body. They were comely of body, well accorded, having ornaments on their feet and legs, and their heads were compassed about with linen cloth. Who wore that a lot, man? And he goes further, man, to speak on these things. You know, and then speaking to them in Hebrew. I highlighted a lot out of here. But they give the account of history. It says New Spain, Peru, which was first called Ophir, then Peru, the land of Ophir, gold of Ophir. You see? It says that the countries that Peru from where King Solomon brought gold, precious stones, as in 1 Kings chapter 9, verse 10, and 2 Chronicles 9 and 21. Bam, man, right here. From this book, this is count evidence written in the 1600s, man, during the peak of the transatlantic slave trade. It's been here. They've been known, man. It says they were keeping the Sabbath days. All sorts of things, man. It says Spaniards found sculptures underground with very ancient Hebrew letters, which Gunnaradabus hath printed in 1 Chronicles page 159. I think that's what he's referring to here. Wow, man. It says they were built. They had temples to give their burnt offerings. So much, man. There's so much in this book, man. Scriptures say truth shall spring out of the earth, and this is the truth that's springing out, bringing out these accounts, man. Bringing out the accounts the brother showed in the opening video. Right here is an example of what they found sculptures out of the earth. This is called the Lost Luna Stones. It has the 10 Commandments written in Paleo Hebrew on it. Some of the characters a little bit backwards and upside down. But again, they were in captivity. And they spoke broken forms of Hebrew. You had all types of stuff, man. Ohio Decalogue Stone. Hebrew again. You have the Bat Creek Stone. Evidence after evidence after evidence, man. You see these artifacts? It's all there. Okay, so again, man, this book called The Hope of Israel, written by Manasseh ben Israel, a Hebrew divine and philosopher. He read it to the High Court and the Parliament of England. You can get this off Amazon, a copy of it. Like I said, the original is thousands of dollars. Get luck getting that. Probably can't even get it. You know, they first time when I seen this book out, original, at the time I came into the truth, it was like $50 to get it, and now it's thousands. So they really want to try to stop this knowledge from being out, but they can't stop this truth, man. You know, so Lord's will, this lesson is edifying. Just kind of doing a brief review of the Northern Kingdom, more so the tribe of Gad and Reuben, who they are today. I'm going to close out and give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash, double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstone, taught us the truth of our will. Salutations to you, hopefully pushing the truth, honesty, sincerity. Shalom.